Apparently Shaggy liked my first one so much he deleted it and wants me to do it again. I'm John, Lily's Bish. Lily is my wife. I'm Lily's Bish, old gamer name. It's just stuck with us. I get a lot of questions over the last couple of weeks. How am I getting my rates? What's going on? How are you doing it? Who are you getting your load boards off of? Who do you work for? So I'll see if I can go over a few of them with you guys. I started off, well, I drove for 16 years for a company we owned, so I know trucking, but this is the first time I've ever done it for a living. I went and drove as a company driver for 7 months and decided to get my own truck. I've been driving my own truck for a little over 2.5 years now. Where do I get my rates? I belong to every board that you could possibly imagine. I've got DAT, I've got 123, I've got Truck Stop, and then all the free ones, JB Hunt 360, Convoy, Uber. I've got them all. Leave yourself as many options as you can. I spend probably 300, 350, somewhere around there, a month on load boards. Worth every penny. Don't try to get it off cheap and work off the free load boards. You're not going to make a good living like that. Leave yourself as many options as you possibly can. Hey Shaggy, how you doing? Find yourself a good company to work for. I work for a guy, he charges 15%. If I ever need anything, he is right there. Just a phone call away, and he's on it every time. When I get done with my work week, whether I choose it to be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I get paid that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Don't deal with these companies that treat you like you're a piece of shit just because you're a truck driver. Don't do it. There aren't a lot of companies out there like the one I work for, but there's a lot of good companies out there. Find one that suits you. Get yourself in a position where you're happy. That's probably the major problem with most truck drivers. They're not happy with what they're doing. It's not always the money. Sometimes it's just the way you're treated in daily life. Find or get yourself on the load boards and know where you're going is probably the biggest thing. Shaggy teaches about knowing the zones. Absolutely true. But then there's areas in the zones. Florida's a agricultural state. That's it. If you're not coming out of there with watermelons, you're coming out of there deadhead. Deadheading out of Florida, not always a great idea, but if you're taking loads out of South Florida just to get out of Florida for $1 a mile and going to Ohio, you're insane. The farthest you should ever need to go is Jacksonville, Savannah, maybe Atlanta. And you know you're going to get decent rates out of those areas. You're not going to get $3 a mile, but you're going to get decent rates. Why would you take a load that blows right past those areas to go up to Ohio? If you need to deadhead that far, it's well worth it. I don't like to deadhead any more than I have to, but I don't mind, 100, 150 miles if I'm hauling a trailer, or even, hell, I've done 300 miles a couple of times on power only because I'm getting 10 miles a gallon. It's not that big a deal. Know your lanes, know where you want to work, where you want to work. There's a good one. If you tell a dispatcher, if you're not dispatching yourself, if you tell a dispatcher, I only want to go here to here, I only want to stay in this area, you're also insane. Go where the money is. As soon as the girl I was teaching dispatch last, she knew she'd look for the best rate and send me there. She'd also look at that area that I'm going to and find out if it's worth going there. Use that as one of your negotiation tools. I just did this video, and now I'm afraid I'm going to repeat half of what I said. When you're talking to a broker, the broker is not the enemy. The broker is not causing low rates. The broker is not causing half the problems that you guys are blaming them for. The broker's just a salesman like you are. I said before, I was selling a modem on Craigslist, and I had it listed for $175, and somebody called me and said, will you take $150? No. And that was the end of the call. Hours later, whatever, I got another call from somebody else. Hey, I saw your modem. You got it listed for $175. If I was willing to wait a couple of days, I could get it for $150. I'd really like to have it now. Can you work with me a little bit on the price? Will you take $150? Sure. I'll sell it to you. Simple as that. Treat your brokers as human. Don't. The very first thing I like to do is try to make a broker laugh about something stupid. It doesn't matter. Put them on the same level as you instead of this whole confrontational truck drivers hate brokers conflict. That's bullshit. These guys are feeding you. You're also making them a living. We work together. You're not going to do it without each other. Joking is the biggest thing. All Christmas long, or all last Christmas, I think I always answered or started the conversation off with, yeah, Merry fucking Christmas. Now we've got that out of the way. Can we check on this load that's going from here to here? They laugh. They'll talk to you. They'll treat you like a human. Don't be just another caller either. You call, I'm talking about this load, how much do you pay for it? Okay, thank you very much, goodbye. No. When you're done with that conversation about what you're working on now, you also need to be asking, by the way, do you have any other projects going on? Do you have any other projects coming up? Where do you normally ship? What lanes do you normally run? I'm interested in this area. I'm interested in what you have to carry. Tell me what you have. Make a conversation. Some of them will cut you short. I've got another phone call. I got to go. Some of them will sit and talk to you. I've picked up a lot of freight that was totally unrelated to what I'm doing. I'll be in Michigan going to North Carolina. By the way, are you ever in the Texas area? Yeah, actually I am. What's up? Oh, I've got these loads. I've got several of them that's coming out of this area. They're not amazing, but they'll pay $3 a mile. So, yeah, hell yeah, I'm interested. Get a conversation going with these people. Just like Shaggy tells you, what was the name of the forklift operator when you were at the loading dock yesterday? You need to know these things. You need to know as much information as possible, because now I'm on people's email list. I've got brokers calling me directly. Hey, John, are you by chance going to be in the Michigan area tomorrow or anytime this week? Just getting those calls means a world of difference. These brokers are not calling me because they usually know better. These brokers are not calling me, hey, I've got this load that pays $1.58 a mile out of Michigan. You think you'd be interested? Don't call me with that. You know better than that. And when they get to know you, they do know better than that. Okay, well, John's not one of the guys I'm going to rely on for that. However, he's one of the guys I can rely on when I know I need it there and I need it done on time, the way it should be. That's the guy you call. It's even in the bottom of my emails. I'm the guy you call when you need reliable service without any bullshit. Something like that. That's what all my email signatures say. Keeping your options open, keeping as many load boards available. People that'll tell you, oh, Uber Freight sucks. So does DAT. So does Truck Stop. So is anybody that's trying to make a living off the boards. The boards are not easy. You guys are talking to me, I'm going to have to get glasses. The boards are not easy to make a way to make a living. Shaggy taught me to start working with shippers directly, and that's absolutely true, and I am starting to pick up some people here and there. The ones I don't like are probably the ones that call me the most. I'll move stacks of flatbeds or chassis or something like that, and those don't ever pay well. They used to pay okay. Now they're not paying so well, and I've got a lot of those guys calling me. It's not so bad because I live in the Pensacola area and there's not a lot of freight coming out of here, so it's nice to drive 50 miles down the road, pick up a load that'll take me somewhere where I need to go. See who's talking to me? Just Anthony and Matt. Never stop networking. That's exactly right. I think I could not possibly stress enough about the way you treat your brokers. This guy has been listening to shit from truck drivers all day long, and you call him up and make him laugh. That's a big bonus. You may not get $3 a mile every time, but I guarantee he's going to offer you a better rate than he would anybody else. Make sure you're in a company that you enjoy working for. I'm telling you, if you've got to deal with shit on the phone every day, you're going to hate your life. You're going to be miserable. Find somebody you enjoy working with. The guy I work with, he and I call, we joke, we send each other texts. I mean, it's a great place to be. I worked for a company for about 14, 15 months. I worked there as a company driver for 7 months. I bought my own truck and continued to work there, but I was miserable. The best money, as a matter of fact, if you guys want to check them out, the best money I've ever made. If you wanted to gross anywhere between $10,000 and $13,000 a week, you could do it. They paid 65%. They gave full benefits, they full medical, 401k, vacation, yada yada yada. That's the reason they paid 65%. you will not make any better money. It was stacked chassis, or not chassis like containers, medium and light duty trucks. They take these trucks to places that turn them into dump trucks or turn them into ambulances or any number of things. They're called Wheeler Trucking. They were out of Flushing, Michigan. They're always hiring. They're not a great company to work for, but if you really want to make money, it's almost like doing pipeline work. I mean, it's just stupid money. My best week as a company driver, I cleared 3,300. My best week as a owner operator was closer to 9,000. It is good money. You are micromanaged. You are literally with their thumb on you the entire time. But if you can deal with that, I tell my wife all the time, I can put up with a lot of shit if somebody's paying me well enough. That it's a good company to go to. And I would highly recommend them for the money only. I worked for Wheeler until April of last year, and I took about 6 months off. I bounced around to a couple other companies. I didn't like the way they treated drivers. I didn't like their dispatch. The very last company I worked for, Ray Logistics, out of Southampton, Pennsylvania, gave me access to the board. They let me have my own DAT account. From there, I really started learning to dispatch myself. I got pretty damn good at it. Now I mean, if I'm not pulling in $1,000 a day, $1,200 a day gross, if I'm not pulling in $6,500 a week, I'm being lazy, or something happened that week, or load got screwed up, or something. There's no reason you can't pull in those kind of numbers. But you've got to do some studying to learn these boards. It's not a matter of getting on the board, picking the load, and going to that spot. It's knowing why you want that load. It's knowing why you don't want that load. It's knowing where you're going to go when you get there. The last dispatcher I trained, she's good. She knew how to get me around and that kind of thing, but she did not know how to negotiate. When you're talking to a broker, you need to throw everything you've got at them to get that price up. Well, I'm going to have to deadhead 150 miles to get to you. That doesn't necessarily have to be true, but that's what you need to tell them. And deadheading isn't always a great negotiation tool. What is telling them that I can be there in 2 hours and moving your load. So don't necessarily rely on, I'm 150 miles away, I need something for fuel, which actually I use that quite a bit too. I'm not greedy. I'm not trying to get a bunch of money out of you, but if I'm fixing to have to deadhead 150 miles, can you chip in on fuel? Usually they'll throw you an extra $75, whatever. These guys that are getting these loads that are listed on the board and they're taking it for exactly that listing do not know what they're doing. All the dispatchers I've talked to, I'm starting a company or I've been a dispatcher for, they're full of shit. I haven't met one, and I've called many of them. I haven't met one that'll tell you, I can earn you consistently $6,000, $7,000 a week. That's absolutely true, but they're going to be running you for 3,500 miles a week. What's the name of the company again? Wheeler Trucking, Wheeler Trucking. Yep, you got it. Matt got it right. Flushing, Michigan. They have hubs in California. Pretty much anywhere. Anything's manufactured or imported. You're definitely going to want your TWIC card because you'll pick up loads out of Jacksonville Port and Jacksonville, Florida, out of Baltimore Port, California, several different places. You'll want your TWIC card. Every little bit you get will get you that much more. Also, if you go to Wheeler and you don't have a TWIC card, they will pay for your TWIC card. If you have truck inspections or anything like that, they want a truck inspection, a DOT inspection done every 3 months. If you pass it, they'll pay for it. If you fail it, that's on you. Honestly, it's for the money. I can't recommend them highly enough. Now you guys got asking questions, so you got me off track. Let me see. Look, yeah, Rookie on Facebook. No question. It's all good. He's on. Yep. Learn to talk to your brokers. Learn to respect your brokers, and I promise you'll get the respect back out of them 90% of the time. Learn to work for a company that you enjoy working for. There's nothing more stressful than dreading that call when you're looking at caller ID and it's the office calling, knowing that they've got something to bitch about or something stupid to say. When I get that call, it's like, oh, hell yeah, it's Pankaj. Hey, bud, how you doing? That's our calls. that's another great one to relieve the stress. We've got enough stress in our life out on the road. We deal with so much crap as it is. To eliminate as much as possible is absolutely worth it. Do whatever you can for it. Learn how to use the load boards and learn to use more than one. Do not try to make a living off these free load boards. You will starve to death. Once you've got yourself in a comfortable position where you're pulling in a little more money than you're used to, get another load board. Get every load board that you possibly can. That's how I was making a decent living. Now I'm doing even better because of the networking. Now I'm learning to talk to the shippers. Now even I'm learning to talk to the brokers who are offering the things that they don't list. Just like I said, the Circus Olay, I moved them from Houston to Orlando. I think it was about $3.15 a mile. Then I moved them from Orlando to New York City. Nobody likes New York. Trust me, when you go in at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's a breeze to run into New York City. That paid me $4,800, and it was about 1,100 miles. Now they're moving to Vermont. I doubt I'll make it up there because it's a real short run. But get on their calling list to where they're calling you first before they call anybody else. That load happened to be posted on Facebook because several people, I'm sorry, on DAT, because several people dropped out on them at the last minute. And it was through Caravan, and been a wonderful experience ever since. I'm on with another broker now. I just started last week. He moves stages around for concerts and things like that. And he asked if I was readily available or if I was willing to move for whatever. He's also $3 a mile. I don't remember his name, but if you guys ask me in the comments below, I'll look it up and figure out who it was. I'm doing power only right now. I've done lowboy, I've done flatbed, I've done step deck. I've done it all. I'm doing power only just because I wanted to explore a new avenue. I'm buying a step deck. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to run step deck all summer long during the step deck season, and then I'm going to run power only all winter long. But I can always stop by the house and drop the trailer off, or stop off at a storage yard and drop it off somewhere and keep running power only, leaving as many options available as possible. I don't remember what else I touched on in the other video. Those are the biggest ones. Learn to use the boards until you've got yourself worked in a position where you're not having to use the boards. And even then, you're going to use the boards to fill in gaps. There's not always going to be a broker that's got something for you, or a shipper. Make sure you're happy with the company that you're working with. That's 30% of the stress in your life. You have to deal with your company almost every day. Learn to dispatch yourself. If your company won't allow you to dispatch yourself, another good reason to find another company. You can get your own load board. You can call in as a dispatcher, and you can get access to your own load board without the MC and all that kind of stuff. No, this is not all power only. This is I just started power only in February or March, somewhere around there. When I switched companies, January. Anyway, when I switched companies from Ray Logistics to where I am now, I got tired of paying the rental fee on just crap trailers that they were picking up from Penske. And the guy I came on to said he runs reefer. And I said, well, I don't think I really want to pull a reefer right now. I'm going to do power only for a little while. And he says, okay. He says, you'll be back. I don't think you're going to make it as power only. Now he's trying to get me to train the other drivers so they can do power only as well. I'm not anything exceptional or amazing, but I'm pretty good at everything I get my hands into. And so far, I've done really well at this one also. The only reason I'm looking to change up is because I don't like, there's no way in hell you could ever get me to run the same lane every week, all week long, going to the same place, seeing the same thing, and the same with running power only. Okay, it's getting a little old. I'll pick up a step deck or start running step deck for a little while, just so I'm not doing the same thing every day. I'm not a creature of habit. I do not want to be locked into something. If you don't have any questions, but you think of something later, or if I need to make another video, feel free to leave the comments down below. I'll try my best to keep up with it and answer your questions. I'll keep up with your questions on the comments. I will answer them. You can send me a text. My phone number is 850-479-2486. A lot of these guys will send me texts while I'm driving down the road, and I'm like, I can't do this. Just call me. We'll talk about it over the phone. Don't mind talking to anybody. I'm nobody special. I'm just a guy out here like you guys, plugging away at it, making a living, and doing a little better than the ones that are trying to say that the sky is falling and the market's falling. That's another thing too. I hate hearing this. You know, last year was a phenomenal year, and when you compare our rates this year to last year, they suck. But when you compare our rates this year to every year before last year, we've steadily increased. We've done better and better and better. The last 9 years, our rates have gone up exponentially. So anybody that says these rates suck and I can't make it, they don't know what they're doing. If you can't make it now, you would have really been struggling 10 years ago, 9 years ago. You would have really been struggling. Don't tell me how this market sucks and all. I'll post my settlement every week if you like. I'll post every load that I book. I'll post the phone conversations. I don't care. They're full of shit. The sky is not falling. There's still a decent market out here. There's an not easy, but you're going to work for it. There's still a good living to be made out here. Don't listen to these guys. Go out there and plug away at it. Learn what you're doing. Don't just read the board and say, oh, okay, because that's what every dispatcher that I've met does. They go out there, they read, oh, here's a load for you. It's $1,200 for 800 miles. There you go. No, it don't work like that. Learn your limits. Learn how long you want to sit around and let your truck idle. Don't find anything on the boards. Go in and have something to eat. I've sat many a day in a restaurant. I'm over here doing this, refreshing my load boards while I'm sitting and eating dinner. I'll flip between load boards. And like I say, right now I generally run off of 4 boards, but I will thumb through the rest of them. I'll hit an Amazon load every once in a while. Amazon right now, I don't know what's going on with them. Every load coming out of Mobile, Alabama is $3.50 a mile. Every load out of Chattanooga, Tennessee has been $3-ish a mile. I've looked at Amazon load boards many a times. Matter of fact, just 2 weeks ago, there was a 6,700 mile load for 97 cents a mile. Amazon's not the savior, but here recently they've been doing really well. Which brings me, actually, there's one more thing I should mention before I go. Amazon is opening their own brokerage. They've started in 5 states. For all you guys that go, oh God, it's over with, you're wrong. Amazon is trying to pull the truck drivers away from all of their competition. If they have a load, say a shipper wants to move a load for $1,000. After a broker, you might get $900, you might get $850, but you might get some. Amazon's paying the full $1,000. Sometimes they're paying more than the $1,000. What they're doing is trying to put their competitors out of business. Only good for us. Amazon's willing to pay us to take a load at a loss. That's only good for us. So before you start this shit about, oh, it's Amazon, it's going to be crap. It's not crap. I've been watching them. They're not full of shit. They're not brokering their own stuff. They're brokering all loads. Think about that. They are the next big C.H. Robinson. It's coming. I promise you, it's coming. Listen to things. Research it yourself before you start listening to all the experts on Facebook. These guys do not have it right. I'm doing it every day. They're wrong. Listen or learn for yourself. Figure it out on your own, and don't just take everybody's advice that happens to post on Facebook. I appreciate your time, guys. If you have any questions, like I said, leave them in the comments below. I'll do the best I can. If I need to make another video, or if you got anything specific, if you want to call me, I'll even post my phone number down below. I appreciate your time. You guys take it easy.